This was supposed to be the second part of a two-part video series. But for the first time and last time, hopefully last time ever, but definitely for the first time, I recorded without audio and somehow didn't notice it because I'm always watching the audio levels. I'm always worried about it. And somehow I didn't notice it that time. I don't know what happened. But I recorded a whole video about fruit powers, and I have notes, and you're going to see that in a minute. I have a bunch of notes and questions and stuff like that. And so it was always going to be a two-part series because what I wanted to do is here's what I remember us knowing at this point in the series, which is episode, at the time I think it was episode 622. Now it's 625. But it was everything I knew at the time. And then I wanted people in my Patreon, early access, to let me know what I didn't remember us knowing. And so I was going to show that video. They would tell me what I didn't remember. I would add what I didn't remember to what I already remembered, and then do the final video. It was going to be a two-part video. Well, since we never got the first part, I just showed the document to everybody. They gave me a few notes. Actually, I had everything pretty watertight. There wasn't much to change. I was always going to record a second video, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm recording the second video. First video, essentially, is going to be the only video on fruit powers, as it turned out. But this has been revised. It's like, I've gotten notes. I'm going to incorporate the notes live as we talk when you're looking at the document. And then it'll be basically up to 625, everything we know about fruit powers. Everything. This is all we have. So that's essentially what this video is. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, since we didn't have audio last time, and let me triple check that just now to make sure I'm getting audio levels. Looks like I am. So annoying. Anyway, because we weren't getting audio last time, let me go through this document just as is before I incorporate the notes. Okay, this is what I had originally. Well, we know for sure there are many fruits, but only one of each kind can exist at a time. The classes of fruits are Zoan, which is animals, Logia, which is elements, and Paramecia, which is powers. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but when someone has with a fruit power dies, the fruit they ate reappears somewhere in the world. The first bite of the fruit does the trick, so if you took one bite and gave the rest to someone else, it wouldn't matter. Eating a second fruit doesn't give you a second power. The fruit powers are against nature, so nature tries to kill any fruit power holder via bodies of water. And what I've been told is it's not just like fresh water versus salt water. It could be a bowl of gravy, as far as I know. Like if you had, say you had 1,000 gallons of gravy in a huge container, and you went in there, I think you would drown. It's any body of water, I believe. That's my understanding. Many, but not all of the fruits are known and recorded in books. Okay, that's what we know for sure. Here's what we think. Going off from number 3 above, we think it might change the nearest piece of fruit. Whatever piece of fruit was closest to the person who dies might be the fruit that gets chosen. We have a very small sample size. We have a sample size of 1. The sample size of 1 doesn't really tell you anything other than you can make a hypothesis. That's about all you can do. But our hypothesis is pretty good given our sample size of 1. 2, devil fruits can be man-made. It's not known how effective this is or how it's done. What's interesting, this is as of me watching episode 625. And in that, Law talks about how, Luffy says, is it that hard to make the sad thing? And Law says he just put Vegapunk's discovery of lineage factor into practice. Lineage factor. I don't know what that means. I know it means something, but yes, it goes along with the practice in this show of saying inexplicable things. Lineage factor. There's so many ways you could take that. We could be talking about fruit lineage. We could talk about human lineage. There's so many things you could do. So, I don't know. But it has something to do with that. Going into the field of pure speculation. Going up to number 5 in the first section, would eating a second fruit hurt you or kill you? If fruit powers are against nature, are you damned in a religious sense for eating one and using their powers? Now, we don't know the religion really. We know they have religion. But I think you would be if you have whatever the version of Christianity is, or where they believe in heaven and hell. Whatever version exists on this world, there's a good chance that if it's real, if you eat a fruit power, you go to hell automatically. If you eat a fruit and you use the powers, you're going to hell. Because it's against nature. I don't think they're going to explore that in the show. But I just think it's interesting to think about. Can fruits be destroyed? Would another one just reappear somewhere in the world if you did so? I think yes. We have no proof of this. That's why it's in the question category. But if you destroy a fruit, if you can, like, put it on a stone tablet and then hit it with a bunch of energy or fire, or crush it, completely obliterate this fruit, devil fruit, with another stone tablet, and it's just gone and there's no evidence of this fruit left, another devil fruit of this type would reappear somewhere nearby or even further away to preserve itself. Maybe it would jump further away because it knows you're trying to destroy it. So it's pointless. I think it would be a pointless exercise to try to destroy individual fruits. I think you have to destroy the fruit powers at the source, whatever the hell the source is. We don't know what the source is, but whatever it is, I think you have to destroy it there. That's the only way to get rid of the devil fruits. Where did the devil fruits come from? Since they were against nature, we know they're not a natural occurrence. Somebody made them. And I think it happened during the Void Century. I think maybe what the government's embarrassed of is they did some heinous experiment, probably human experiments, human trials, and they figured out how to create magic. They've been using it ever since, and they obliterated any trace that they were the cause. We don't know how long devil fruits have been around, but if devil fruits have only been around since the Void Century, we can pretty much be assured that's what happened. That's my working theory at the moment. Yeah, because I don't think they're a natural occurrence. I don't think they just appeared in nature. Nature wouldn't be against it if they appeared in nature. And the last question kind of ties into the rest of what I was just saying. How long have the devil fruits existed? Did they first appear during the Void Century? That all ties into my theory. I think they did. And I think that they were man-made by some scientists whenever the Void... When was the Void Century? Was it 100 years ago? Did it last 100 years? I'm not sure. I don't remember now. Somebody let me know in the comments. Because it's been said in the story. It's just I can't go back through 600 episodes trying to find one line of dialogue, right? You guys know. Or you could, if you're up to date, you can search in Wikipedia and find out without being spoiled the way I can't. I can't do that. Let me know when the Void Century took place. I think it could have been 300 years ago. That's ringing a bell. It lasted for 100 years and it ended 300 years ago, I think is what was said. Let me know for sure. All right, now, here are the notes after I posted this original video. All of the what we know for sure looks good. At this point in the story, that's what we know. Okay, so that's good. What we think is also correct. At this point, after seeing Smiley's fruit reincarnate into a nearby apple, we all assume that the nearest piece of fruit. But there's no confirmation. Yeah, exactly. We have a sample size of 1. And yes, devil fruits can be man-made, but we know very little about them. We can also speculate there are different kinds of man-made fruits. For example, Caesar's Smiles and Vegapunk's artificial devil fruit that Mama Suka ate are probably different because they were made by different scientists. They also said, I think he may say something here. But yeah, let me add that to the what we think. There are different, pure speculation. Point number 1 should actually go into what we know for sure. In Water 7, CP9 mentioned that there is common knowledge that mentioned that it is in common knowledge in the One Piece world that eating a second fruit instantly kills the user. Okay, we know that for sure. Good. So we can take this out. They chalk it up to superstition about every fruit containing a devil, and the 2 devils in your body would fight each other and destroy the body. What's interesting, they did that in Buffy. A vampire already has a demon. A vampire is a demon. They have a demon inhabiting their body. So when that demon was infected with the second demon, the 2 demons fought each other and one of them was killed. So it didn't destroy the body, but one of them fought for supremacy. You can't have 2 devils occupying the same body. That seems pretty obvious. And they also approved the question. So that's it. I thought there was more. So I guess I felt like I was missing a piece of information, which I talked about in the video, which, there was no sound to, so I couldn't post it. Which was, I feel like there was something we discovered in Skypiea, a particle that I thought was tied to the devil fruits. I guess I'm going to have to rewatch that section and see if I don't know when I'm going to have time. But I'm going to have to rewatch the section and figure out what I was talking about. Maybe I can watch all my intros and outros and I'll talk about it somewhere there that can let me identify where it was and what I was thinking at the time. but it seemed like there was a particle that caused the clamshells to have their powers. And the clamshells kind of have magic powers, and the fruits kind of have magic powers, so it seemed like a common source. I don't know if there's a connection or not, but at the time I assumed there was. And nothing I've seen or heard since then has changed my mind about that. So, for here, I'll just put this under pure speculation, because that's what it is. It's just pure speculation. That's what we got so far. But I think there are a lot of mysteries in the show, but I think what is up with the devil fruit powers is directly related to the Void Century, and will be directly related to the resolution of the entire series. But yeah, that's pretty much what we have so far. Like I said at the beginning, feel free to add your thoughts in the comments, especially if you remember a piece of information that I don't remember, especially about Skypiea. But about anything with fruit powers, any stray comment, like, nobody can remember everything. It's been 625 effing episodes. Any stray comment anybody's ever had on the show, on screen, I'm not talking about the manga. To me, the only thing that matters is this show. The only acceptable secondary resource is the author Q&A. And even that I consider to be lower than what is presented on the show. What I care about is the show. That's the text. So, but if you remember anything anybody said on the show, let me know. And also let me know, of course, if it's filler, because I guess we would put that in the lower category. Might still be relevant, might not. But yeah, I thought it was good to check in on Fruit Powers, and then we'll revisit this whenever we get new information, whenever that'd be. Maybe soon, because this story arc coming up is going to be about the factory that makes sad, and maybe we'll learn more about the man-made Fruit Powers at least. That'll be interesting. Because you can always compare and contrast the man-made versus the whatever else. It's probably all man-made, by the way. But when we say man-made, we're talking about current level of incompetence man-made versus Void Century excellence in production man-made. Two different qualities. The production quality and the voice, whoever made the original Devil Fruits knew what the hell they were doing. They did a good job. Current incompetent man-made, that's why we call it man-made. I personally think it's all man-made, but I guess we'll have to see. P.S. to this video. I forgot that there was a question about Devil Fruits I was going to add to this video. Went ahead and recorded another reaction. I was like, wait a minute, I was supposed to answer that question. So let's just do that here. Alright, so Kezmik. It's Kezimk. What are your top 3 favorite Devil Fruits so far, and what Devil Fruit would you like to have if you could choose one? I'd like to know what you would want to have for taking over the world, which one would be most useful or cool and in general to have. Okay, so top 3 Devil Fruits. Like there's so many, I'm sure I'm going to forget some. But for me, it's about versatility. What is the most you can do with this fruit? Like, for instance, the poison fruit, what Magellan has, there's not much versatility there. You can poison people, either personally or with your gas, but, like, what are you accomplishing there, right? So, and I'll tell you, I don't like any of the Zoan fruits. Turning into an animal hybrid just doesn't, it's not good enough, man. It's fine. It's fine. Like, you have elephant powers, or you have camel powers, or whatever. It's fine. Like, it's not horrible. But to me, it's not good enough. So you take all those immediately off the board. Okay, so I guess Law's power it got to be one of the top 3 for versatility. The different things you can do with it, okay? Smoker's power is pretty good for versatility. The different things you can do with it. But it's not top tier. So we're just talking in general here. Luffy has to be one of the top 3 simply because we've seen it so much. We've been so much around it. And Robin, of course, is top 3 because I think she's so overpowered. It's a ranged weapon. There's so much you can do. The person can be way over there and you can just snap his neck. You can pull the keys out of his thing. Like, there's so much you can do. They rarely have her fight for that reason. And I know if one of the arms takes damage, then she takes damage, but still, she's extremely overpowered. If she had been in Marine Force, she could have ended everything right then and there. She could have freed Ace from a distance, because the problem was people kept getting in the way. Every time he tried to get over there, somebody blocked his way. So people kept getting in the goddamn way. So, a range weapon would have been nice. let's do this several different ways. First of all, let's talk about the most overpowered fruits. The most overpowered fruits are Robin's and the Light Admiral, Kizua, whatever his name is. He can move at the speed of light. Nobody can defeat the speed of light. This is like the Flash. The Flash should win every fight. They have to nerf him. They have to go out of their way to create plot contrivance so that he doesn't immediately win everything, the Flash, everything he immediately does. If you can move at the speed of light, nobody can react fast enough. Before they can think that you're even going to do something, you've already done it. It's over. It's done. Now, maybe he's not literally as fast as light, but still, it should be done, man. Like, you know, and it's only because things are at anime speed. He's lifting up his leg and the light power is generating, it's getting brighter and stuff. It should be over the second he lifts up his leg. It's over. You're already dead. So that's overpowered, but they write it in such a way where it's not. And Robin's overpowered. If we're going to have another person who's overpowered, whatever Dolly has is pretty overpowered, but we've already seen him be overwhelmed by the Ice Guy. Like, the Ice Guy's going to kick his ass. So you can see that Ice Guy or Lava Guy or both of them are pretty up there when it comes to power, as far as being overpowered. So those are all overpowered. I'm not as interested in being overpowered because there's not much of a challenge there. But most I want versatility. The most versatile power is probably Robin's. There's so much she can do. Now she can transport herself through her power. There's so much she can do. There's so many ways they've shown her to be able to do stuff. So she has one of the most versatile powers. But, you know, they say the power has to do with your personality. And I am a defensive-minded person. And, you know, when I play chess, I establish defense first, then I go on offense. That's the way I play. That's just my whole thing, right? That's why when I play chess, I do the unorthodox thing, which is I castle to the left instead of to the right. I guess I castle to the long side of the board rather than the short side of the board. Most people castle on the short side of the board. 99% of people castle. I always seek to castle to the long side of the board. Because what happens is, if you both castle on the same side, you can't attack each other on that side. So I castle to the opposite side of my opponent. So then I can send my pawns down and just use that as part of my attack, right? Defense first and offense. So my mentality is to sit back and wait and see what happens in everything. If I'm being trolled, if I think I'm being manipulated, I grew up with my brother, master con man, manipulation, all this stuff. Somebody's playing a long con, I'm just going to sit and wait. I suspect it. I think I know what's happening, but I'm going to wait for more information, and you can typically wait too long, but that tends to be what I do. So I'm going to sit back and wait. So we need a power that dovetails with that mindset. Some kind of defensive power where you're impervious to attack, but the only way you can attack with your power is if you put thought into it and you wait for the right moment. You wait for the right moment to strike, and then you do it. I don't know if we've seen a power that has all that, right? So I don't know if we've come across my perfect fruit. It's kind of a Weasley answer because really you're asking of the fruits we have. Well, of the fruits we have, okay, light power or Robin, but I don't really want those. You know, they're overpowered. I'll take them, but I don't really want them. I want a defensive power that makes me impervious to people attacking me so I can sit back on my ass and think about things and what am I going to do. That's what I want. And I don't think we've had anything like that per se so far. Like a turtle shell fruit power. And then when I'm ready, I can stick my head out and attack. That would be the perfect fruit for me. As far as taking over the world, if you want to take over the world, you want a power, and I don't know if we've seen this one yet either, but you want a power that lets you be a cult leader. Not that lets you control people, but that lets them adore you and want to, of their own free will, do what you say. So it's a thing where it's like we've seen Jasmine in the Buffy verse, the hell was his name in Isaac Asimov Foundation series? The Mule? Yeah, the Mule. He had the ability to control people. But not really control people. What I want is the ability of people to love me as a cult leader. And then anybody who comes, they have to be in my presence. Once they're brought into my presence, They love me as a cult leader, and that never fails. That never shakes. There's no defense against it. Jack L. Chalker also wrote about this. In his Demons at the Rainbow Bridge series, there was 3 sets of aliens. One of the 3 sets of aliens had the power. Any other creature, sentient creature that comes into their presence, is automatically enslaved by them by religious devotion. They fall in religious love with the creatures and want to do whatever they say and obey their religious tenets. And be fruitful, multiply, go forth, and propagate the religion out in the stars, right? That would be the perfect power. Now, you have to have limitations, of course. So it could be a thing where if they're not in your presence once a year, they revert back to what they were before. So you'd have to meet with your followers at least once a year, and you just make that part of the process. Just rotate through your kingdom, and you see everybody at least once a year, and everything's cool, right? But there'll be the stragglers who somehow are separated from you, and then they can get away. So that's good for a story. That would be the perfect thing for taking over the world, because you turn your enemies into your allies, just like that. And of course, the most powerful people in the world would be impervious. Like, I just finished a filler episode where somebody puts a green collar around you and controls you. I don't think you can control everybody that way. I think there are some people who are strong-willed enough they resist what you're doing, and they're kind of impervious. They're kind of immune to it. It doesn't help if you have your followers rip them to pieces, but, I'm just saying, you can't fool all the people all the time. So you can fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And so that's kind of what this would be. It would have its limitations, as all the fruit powers do. But that would probably be the best power for taking over the world. But then again, that's another fan fiction power we haven't seen. Of the powers we've seen, Whitebeard's is pretty good for something like that. You want to be able to just destroy the city or the island who opposes you, if you're into that like mass destruction kind of thing. And you would have to be if you're taking over the world. Because taking over the world means taking over the government and ending the military rule. So you need to be able to handle a lot of people at a distance. So you need Whitebeard's power for that. Yeah, so that's what I think, that's my addendum to this fruit thing. It was a great question. I'm glad I remembered to include it before I exported and uploaded that video.